In the machine shop, when you need to take a piece of metal and get it square on every side, the first thing you do is you place it in the vise with the large side of the piece facing up. And then you machine a skim coat off the top of that so you can clean it all up. And it will look something like this one, which we just completed that operation on. Okay, all this top surface now is milled flat to one level. Then you come afterwards and you file the edges of the piece to deburr it. Once you've done that, then you can remove it, and the next thing you'll do is you'll take this freshly machined surface and you'll put it against this side of the vise on the fixed jaw of the vise, and then you'll place a piece of round stock on the back of it and close your vise tight, and that will force this side machine piece of the aluminum to be flush with the edge of the fixed vise jaw. Okay, I loosened the vise and I took the piece of metal out. Here's the machine side, and I flip it over so that I know that this edge right here, the machine side, is going to go up against this edge of the fixed jaw in the vise. And I want to make sure before I do anything else that I clean it off and clean and make sure there's no chips in the vise or on the side of the part. So then this part, quite heavy, do one-handed with a camera, goes in there with this machine side here resting against the fixed jaw of the vise and indexed against your stop. Next, you'll take your piece of round stock and you'll put that in there and you'll tighten up your vise jaws. Okay, and as you can see, I've got that piece of round stock sandwiched between the movable vise jaw and the material, and that forces this edge to be perpendicular to this one. Okay, so now we can go ahead, touch off our tool. In this case we're using a 2-inch face mill to the top surface, and it'll run back and forth and make that 90 degrees to this piece, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we just finished the second side, machining the second side flat, and now we'll take compressed air and blow off some of the coolant. You can see we've got a nice shiny flat edge. We're gonna have to deburr that. And then the next step, we're going to take this edge and move it 180 degrees around so that it's sitting on the bottom of the vise. And we still have this good side against the fixed jaw. That will make this side and the bottom side down here parallel to each other and square to this side. I just flipped the part over. I have the good side, and it's still going to go up against the fixed jaw of the vise. On the bottom, we have the surface that we just machined, and that's sitting flat in the vise. Everything indexed, put up against it. You can see this side hasn't been machined yet, but it's going to be the next side that we tackle. After I clean these chips off of this bar, I'm going to place it back in here and tighten everything down. Okay, now we've got it mounted back in the vise and tightened down. We've got the bar in place. We've got the unmachined side here. We've got the large finished side on this side against the fixed jaws of the vise, and this other side that we just milled is down on the bottom. So when we're done, this one will be parallel. Because we know how much material was removed from this side, I don't have to touch off again here. I just have to change my reference point in my CAD software and drop it down 5/1000ths of an inch, and it should be ready to machine. Okay, that's the third side done. So we've got this side, bottom side, and the big side. All these two are parallel to each other, and this one is 90 degrees to each of those. So the next step will be to take this good side and put it where this side is now. So it's going to just rotate it down so that this flat milled side is down and this unmilled side is up, and we'll take a few thousandths off of that. Okay, we have the side that has a large machine side is on the bottom of the vise. We got one of the nice machined side pieces against the fixed edge and the other movable jaw, and we took out the round bar because these two sides now are parallel to each other, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. So it's just sitting in here. We'll touch off the top surface of this, and then we'll machine it to the final depth that we need. And that may take several passes, but when we're done, we should have a part that's flat on all four sides so far, and then two more when we square up the edges. For the next step in the operation, we selected a 3/4 inch end mill and machined across the end of the stock. This made the stock end perpendicular to the four sides that we'd already machined. Now that we've got all five of the other sides machined, we can flip the material over in the vise and use the 3/4 inch end mill to machine the other side. So now all six sides will be perpendicular to each other, and then we can make our final part from that. Learning to square up stock in a CNC milling machine is an important basic skill for you to learn, and it will help you make parts that mate together well and are precision. Well, I hope this has helped as a guide you along your path.